Hey viewers, this is a Predator 2000 inverter generator that I bought from Harbor Freight. This is a great little generator, but it doesn't come with an hour meter, which is helpful when you want to track when maintenance is supposed to be done. So today I'm going to show you how I've installed one on my generator. I've already removed the 3 machine screws that hold the side panel on. The side panel has some great flat areas where you could install an hour meter. However, behind the panel there are too many obstructions in the way. Before I show you how I did that on mine, here's a couple of accessories that I got. This is a cover. It's a Honda generator cover. Fits pretty decently. Has a convenient flap on the top to access your carry handle. And then I also got a magnetic dipstick, and that replaces the stock dipstick that comes with the generator. And then along with the magnetic dipstick, this came as a kit. There's a drain tube, make it a little bit more convenient to drain your oil. I got these on eBay, and when you go to look for it, you do have to specify that it's for the Predator 2000. Now once you get the side panel off, you also need to remove the electronics panel here. I've already removed 3 of the screws. There are just 3 locations, or I'm sorry, 4 locations here. You just pop those 4 screws out. There's also a screw in the middle of the knob here. You just take that screw out, the knob comes right out. So besides a Phillips screwdriver, probably going to need a pliers, needle nose pliers, wire stripper with a ring terminal crimper on it, file, and I used a Dremel tool, which you may or may not need. And then as far as supplies, you're going to need some 14 to 16 gauge ring terminals, 14 to 16 gauge female disconnects, number 6 by 1/2 inch screws. I chose stainless steel. I also used some heat shrink tubing, which you may or may not decide to use. And then you're going to need your hour meter. This is a square one, and I'll show you why I picked that one. And you need some 16 gauge jacketed wire. I got this at the big box. Actually had 4 wires in it. I stripped the white and the green one out, leaving me with the red and the black. There's 3 feet of this. So what you need to do is set up your female disconnects on one end, and that'll just go in through your compartment here. And I wove it underneath the air filter. Down here there's already a ground wire. There's a steel strut here with a hole in it. You can come up through that hole. And then on your electronics side, what we're doing is we're tapping into the 12 volt, the back of the 12 volt outlet. There are some spade connectors. Doing my own camera work here, so some spade connectors on the back of the 12 volt outlet with some small machine screws, and there are already a couple of wires attached to those spade connectors. So you just need to add your wires on there, connect red to red and black to black. That side's ready to go. There's a hole in the compartment here. It's pretty difficult to miss, and all the other electrical wires come through that same hole. So you just feed your wires through that hole, and then your electrical panel is ready to be put back on. So once you've got that set up, you've got your wire. I've got an extra long loop here, and I'll explain why I did it that way. You need to remove the spark plug port on the top here. It's got a little pigtail you can just pop out of the hole. And then there's a recessed flange in the top of that spark plug access port. That's where you're going to actually be cutting to install the hour meter. Now this is a, what is it again? A 10 to 80 volt DC hour meter. That's why we're tapping it into the 12 volt, back of the 12 volt outlet there. So the size of this covers the spark plug port perfectly, so that when it's installed, it looks like it was meant to be. So when you get this, it'll have a flange around the back side of the faceplate here, and you need to cut that off. One thing I didn't mention is you're going to need a utility knife, and what you do is just score that flange a bunch of times all the way around till it's almost through, and then just take your pliers and wiggle that flange back and forth until it weakens the plastic and breaks off. Then I took my Dremel tool and I just fine-tuned it a little bit all the way around the edge. And then I just took a sheet of sandpaper and just ran it all the way around till I had a good flush backside on this faceplate. So then in order to lay that out, you just set that on the top of that spark plug access port, and all you need to do is mark it on both sides on the recessed area of that port there. Do it on both sides, turn it the other way, and mark the other sides. So what you'll end up with is a hole that looks like that. So once your hour meter is installed, mark your lines, and then just take your utility knife, and it's decently soft plastic. You can just cut out what you don't need, and it's a matter of trial and error. Test it, take some more plastic out, test it, take some more plastic out. And the goal is to have it so it's flush with where the red side panel is going to end up. Kind of looks like it's always been there. So I haven't permanently installed this yet. I have fired the generator up with it on, and so it does work. And the next step is to drill holes in the corners, then reinstall it, go through those holes into the case of the generator, and then I'm going to take it back out and I'm going to put oversized holes in the corners of the hour meter so that when I put the screws in, I don't crack the plastic out on the faceplate. So once you've got that done, you can install it. Connect your wires, and when it comes time to do any spark plug maintenance, you can just take the whole thing out, and the wire will just drape over the side then, and you can still access your spark plug with the spark plug tool that comes with the generator. That's it. Put the panels back on, and it's ready to go. Hopefully this has been helpful, and appreciate you watching my video.